Well, hello and welcome to the Troglodyte Clan Live Wednesday Night Woo. I am your host, Logical Troglodyte. Hopefully we have a good, fun show for you tonight. But let's take a look around the cave and see who is all with us. And tonight I'd like to start with two of our unsung heroes, who without them we wouldn't be able to have live streams, or at least live streams properly. Our own Amy Hogan. Hi, Amy. How's it going?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. What's going on in your world?
Not too much. We just got home from Special Olympics yesterday. I have a gold medal champion. I'm so thrilled.
Hooray!
Thank you. Very proud of him, by the way. He did awesome.
What
And I
what
want to.
event did he win the gold in?
He won for 100 meters in the cross country skiing event.
Sweet. Well, you tell him that everybody here is really proud of him.
Thank you. I certainly will.
And since everybody's been asking for the last several months, what about Bull? We figured we'd answer that tonight. The Trog clan scientists have been hard at work. We have rebuilt him to be stronger, faster, smarter than he was before. We have genetically re-engineered him to be a troglodyte, and he has now taken up residence here in Cave Town. Bull, how's it going?
It's going good. I had a lot of fun putting this together and, expanding the horizons, as it were, because this is a lot different than the Non Sequitur show was. So.
Well, we try not to be like everybody else around here. We do appreciate all your hard work, working all the dials and bells and whistles to keep this stream going. And everybody in the live chat, forgot to mention Amy is our chief mod and our live chat call out lady. So if you have any questions, comments for the panel, do at Logical Troglodyte. I have Amy logged in under my channel name so that she will see everything. And the house rules basically, keep it courteous. Don't, you can cuss, whatever we do here on the show, but not inordinately. No racist or political agenda crap, no homophobic crap, that kind of mods, that kind of stuff goes immediately. Anything else, whatever, as long as people are having fun, right? If conspiracy theorists and flat earthers show up, wanting to spout crap, whatever. We laugh at them, let them laugh at us. And so who cares, right? So anyway, Our next panelist is a fellow Shill member and everybody's favorite penis. I mean, Dick. Hey, Dick Dawson, how's it going?
Hey, that was funny. Hey, all you fellow babies, how's it going tonight? Everybody cool and feeling good, ready for some stupid? I know I am. This is going to be great, man. This is going to be too much fun.
Well, yeah, it will be, hopefully. And, and Jeff was invited, and as you see, he is on the screen. But unfortunately, he's running a bit behind. He may show up late. He may not. I don't know what's going on in his world over there, half a world away. Oh, he did pop in. Well, everybody, also my fellow shill member, a man who straps stupid down and pours piping hot cups of reason down their throat. Jeff from Steaming Cup of Reason. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's going, man. Sorry I'm late. Things got a little bit messed up this morning. Bit of a foul mood right now, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But hey, I'm here.
Well, that's okay. We're going to be able to cure that foul mood with a little bit of beer, a little bit of laughs, and a whole lot of stupid. Right, guys?
Oh, I sure hope so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for our
Definitely.
absolute special guest tonight, hopefully everybody knows her, and if they don't, well, you're going to get a chance to get to know her. Cy Strikeling from Friday Night Cy Strike Movie Night, following in her father's footsteps. How's it going, Strikeling?
Hey, it's definitely going. How's everybody doing tonight?
Well, that's pretty. I'm good. You guys good?
I'm good.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
All
good.
of y'all are good, then we're all good.
So, like I was telling Strikeling in the background, I thought she was an old hand at debunking, right? Just from being around her dad so much. Uh, but when I asked her to be on the show, she says, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Okay, what kind of stupid would you like to stomp on?" She goes, "Oh no, what kind of stupid you got?" So we decided to pull out all the stops and get some oldies but goodies tonight. Tonight we have giants and reptilians and morons. Oh my.
It sounds like I'm definitely in for a treat.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But before we get into any of the stupid, anybody got any questions for Strikeling?
No, I'm good, man.
Was it an automatic thought that you would step in and continue on with your father's channel and whatnot? Was there any hesitation? Did you know you wanted to do it right away? How did that play out?
Yeah, so no, it was definitely a first thought thing. There really wasn't any question in my mind. There had been plenty of times in the past where he had asked me to be a part of it and, to go out and do all these things with him and stuff. And, the answer was always what everybody's answer is, I'm too busy with work, or there's, we'll do it later, anything like that. And so, unfortunately we learned the hard way that, later doesn't always come. So when he did pass away, the first thing I thought of was, well, he'd want me to continue it, and I wanted to continue it. It was something that I wanted to do for him and for myself. It was always something I wanted to get into and just never had the time. So no better opportunity.
Cool. Right on. Figured as much. For sure.
Yeah, what better way to honor, the person you love, but keep their memory alive by following in their footsteps. That's great. And Amy, do we got anything going on in live chat? Anybody out there that has anything for Strikeling or anybody else on the panel?
Nothing right now. We're doing really good. So.
Well, okay. Well, let me grab my tablet here and see who's all here. We have Stuck in Florida, a longtime supporter of this channel. I think he first subscribed to me when I had less than 100 subscribers. So thanks for showing up tonight, Stuck in Florida. We got Surf and Factard and Mr. Victory and Just Brit. Monochromatic Light Source. Always good to see you there, buddy. And we got Sean Hubbard in the chat. So welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. And so if you know anybody else that wants to come in, grab a beer out of the cooler and get some laughs, send them a DM in Discord or in Twitter and get their butts in here, right? And so anybody else got anything going on in their little corners of YouTube that they want to show out?
Well, I got my next Mega Mirror coming up on Friday night for you guys, Saturday for me. And that'll be on the new iNetwork.
Oh, cool. You're going to move that over there. is it a secret as to who you're mirroring and interviewing? Or?
Well, I usually do keep it a secret, but for this one, I can kind of spill the beans. The first Mega Mirror on the iNetwork will feature common sense criticism.
Oh yeah, he's a fairly new channel. He's got some really good stuff out there. It'll be good to see an interview with him.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh, and speaking of shilling out people, I want to make a mention that a new group live show is going to be starting. NASA Black Site 69.
Yeah.
And Amy will be popping their channel link into the live chat from time to time. And their first live stream is going to be tomorrow night for me, January 30th. What time was that, Amy? I don't remember. I'm not looking at the green room at the moment.
Yeah, let me check.
I don't remember offhand at all. I'd have to bring it
Yeah, I'll
up.
have to bring it up too, because
I got a reminder set so I don't miss it because
That's what
know
I did, right?
I know some of the guys on the panel, but I don't know them all. And Demonic Davros is there, and Nathan Thurpson is going to be there, and from the looks of it, and I know those guys are funny as hell.
Yeah, Planner Walk. He's great.
live in 25 hours. So it looks like January 31st at midnight.
All right,
Or-
plenty
and
of
I
time for
think
me to
that's
go get some
Eastern.
more beer.
Ooh, gonna have to
Absolutely.
get some beers for that myself.
Oh, what about you, Bull? You got anything going on in your corner of YouTube for all the stuff that you do that you want to shout out to people in the live chat?
Other than what everybody probably already knows, which is Steve and the Non Sequitur Show, which should be coming back. It should be back, but it should be back now already. But we won't go into all that. But that's going to be coming up, and then of course, and all the new stuff we got going on over at the Shills, and that's about it. Other than doing my Pimp Monk show at 11 every a.m. Eastern on Monday through Thursday. That's all I got going right now.
Okay. And Strikeling, I know you've had, because of your work schedule, bounce movie night around between Friday and Saturday. Is that going to settle down to a particular time slot?
Yeah, that's it was kind of a one-off thing the other day. 2 weeks ago, we did Saturday night, but the usual time is going to be every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Continuing forward, I do have a date coming up in March that I'm going to be not home for, so I think I'm going to see if AT2 Productions can host that one for me. But other than that, it'll continue to be on Friday nights.
Alrighty. And I got so confused when it went to Saturday. I didn't know what the hell, and then I was on the shows or I was somewhere and I said something about a Saturday night live, and they said, no, it's Sunday, stupid. Like, it's Strikling's fault.
It's always my fault. That's fine.
It's usually Curie's fault, so
Yeah. Oh, God, there's nothing like throwing off an old caveman by switching up a show that he likes to watch to a different day and time. So if anybody hasn't subscribed yet to Cy Strikes Movie Night, head on over there after this show, hit that button, hit that bell, and
hit
make
the
sure
bell
you
too.
show up.
Hit the bell just to make sure. You never know.
Yeah. It's always a good time. People are always getting drunk, cracking jokes. What is you spin a wheel, you get you spin the wheel to decide what it is you're going to be watching. So nothing's pre-planned, nothing's pre-scripted. It's just yuckity yucks, right?
Yep, pretty much. The wheel of
All right.
misfortune.
So speaking of yuckity yucks, do you guys want to keep chewing the fat, or do you want to get into some real stupid?
I don't chew fat, so let's do stupid.
All right.
Let's go.
Stupid it is. Bull, roll that beautiful stupid footage. Already?
So-
They haven't even
so-
said nothing yet.
But at this point, I feel like somebody's trying to mind fuck me in a B movie. Like that's the video reel they play when they've got your eyes taped open and they're dropping drops in your eyes and stuff. That's what that was. That was wild.
Yeah, I did like that Bigfoot-esque style footage of the hunched over, whatever it was, trucking around in the desert. That was interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was.
that's what all this footage is like. It's always like, what is that? You can't really tell,
Yeah. And, well, I noticed several things already in there, not the least of which is that most of it was just pencil drawings, and of course, well, yeah, there was an actual video footage of a giant wearing a loincloth walking along. And it's like, well, yeah, there are really big people. One of my own friends locally is 7'1", but,
Yeah, but was he a giant or were the other people pygmies? I mean, come on, how do you know?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
when you're my height, everybody looks like a giant, so that's not really fair.
Yeah,
Well, there
same
you go.
here.
What are you
I
striking?
look like a
4 foot tall?
giant next to my girlfriend.
4'11".
All that it all looked very stop motion, like you said, B movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like
Hey,
how they're setting the stage for it.
Jeff, your mic's running just a little hot, little distortion on it.
Okay.
So,
Well, better to know than not, right? So I can't wait till somebody actually says something in this because it's just going to go from bad to worse, right? You know
Yeah.
what's coming.
yeah,
know,
this is the
I'm
video I think it is. It's like a half hour long, and no, we're not going to make everybody suffer through a half hour of this crap.
Yeah, it's going to be somebody who talks just like that Sukalos guy from Ancient Aliens, but without the little accenty, lispy thing that he's got going on, right? But it'll be the same words and structures, all kinds of what ifs and if, then, and maybe because, and yada yada yada.
Yeah. Amy, we got anything going on the live chat before we get back over to the video?
I have just Brit. She said, "Mind fucking B film." LOL.
She's not wrong.
No, she's not. It's really funny.
All right. Okay. Anybody else got anything to put their 2 cents worth in before we go back to the video?
I'm going to save it for the full quarter, man.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's go, Bull.
In 1848, President Abraham Lincoln visited the Niagara Falls, and he was so impressed by the beauty of this natural wonder that he wrote down some notes, including the following. When Columbus first sought this continent, when Christ suffered on the cross, when Moses led Israel through the Red Sea, nay, even when Adam first came from the hand of his Maker, then as now, Niagara was roaring here. The eyes of that species of extinct giants, whose bones fill the mounds of America, have gazed on Niagara as ours do now.
Pause.
During the 19th
At that time in history, we didn't have the whole idea of plate tectonics and motion and whatnot all figured out. And so, trying to find some quote from somebody that's not exactly educated in geology and so on, and, the actual history of the earth to cling on to like it's doctrine and divine and therefore the law is a pathetic at best attempt to, facilitate your own needs and desires with the narrative. That's a joke.
Yeah, it is a joke. I mean, what fucking hell does the Niagara Falls have to do with giants?
Well, nothing. But the man was being poetic. And
I'm pretty sure that Lincoln never said anything about giants either.
yeah, and if that is a real quote, yeah, he was being poetic. And, you got to admit that the Native American, pre-Columbian, Stone Age technology people conquering an entire continent was a gigantic task. So to call them giants, if not literally, at least figuratively, is accurate
That's
to a
what I
certain
was
degree.
thinking. Like
Yeah,
giants of history, it's like they figured largely in our history. So that's what I think he meant.
Mm.
Yeah,
And it's like
when
the scientists
That
saying
makes
that we
sense.
stand on the shoulders
That's
of
right.
giants and see further. Newton wasn't 10 feet tall.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, Einstein was not an NBA player. It just didn't work that way.
No.
Oh, well, anyway, let's see what else she's got to say. It's going to be, well, interesting.
19th century, there were many accounts of unnaturally large skeletal remains discovered in the ancient burial mounds scattered across North America. Today, not a single news media has ever mentioned a thing about ancient giants or past discoveries. If a giant skeleton is discovered somewhere, it would most certainly be classified and hidden from the public. It wasn't like that in the 19th and early 20th century, though. Almost every year, there were at least
I mean, seriously, we're already going to presuppose that anything, any organization, museum, scientific university that gets any government money, all of a sudden is in a conspiracy because they are out to get us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Be careful.
Not all of them are paid shills like us that are purposely hiding the ice wall. No, scratch that. Sorry. Bull, can you use the time delay on the stream to edit that out? Can we just keep moving? Okay, sorry. Never mind. Keep
Hey,
going.
don't make me get my attack penguins on you.
You stepped your foot in it this time, Dick Dawson. The red light above my head is flashing. That is not a good sign.
Oh, I probably got an ICBM from the brainy beaver coming in right now.
Oh, my God. Amy, what's going on in the live chat? Anything?
Yeah, actually I do. I have some good stuff here in the live chat. I've got Mr. Victory that says, "Oh my God, Lincoln wasn't talking about real giants and meant the great men that came before them." Sean Hufford said, researching the quote, Lincoln was talking about mastodons and mammoths. The quote was cherry picked. And then Stuck in Florida said they had found large dinosaur bones in the late 1700s. So maybe he was talking about that.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, but of course, we ain't get a little thing like logic or facts get in the way of a good conspiracy. He said giants, therefore he meant literal giants. He had to have, right? Because that's like the only answer out there.
Right.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Strikeling? I haven't heard your voice in a minute.
I think we just need to see where else she goes with this.
Okay. Your wish is our command.
a few newspaper headlines stating the discovery of ancient giant skeletons. It seemed to be quite normal to find bones of giants in America when the first settlers dug ancient mounds to prepare for roads, farms, and buildings. The New York Times, in particular, wrote many newspaper articles about the discoveries of giants. Let's read through some of them, starting with this one titled "The Bones of a Giant Found," which was published on May 25, 1882, and reads, "A skull of heroic size and singular formation has been discovered among the relics of the mound builders in the Red River Valley. The mound was 60 feet in diameter and 12 feet high. Near the center were found the bones of about a dozen men and women, mixed with the bones of various animals. The skull in question was the only perfect one, and near it were found some abnormally large body bones. The man who bore it was evidently a giant. A thorough investigation of the mound and its contents will be made by the Historical Society."
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Go
not
ahead.
one piece of factual statement in that other than, well, they were clearly a giant. What? Why? Can we have some numbers? Did anybody have a measuring tape with them? Come on, please.
Yeah, saying heroic size, that's like saying it's a shit ton. Well, how big is a shit ton? Well, it's a buttload.
It's a metric butt ton.
Yeah, when I hear the term heroic size, I'm usually figuring it belongs underneath a thumbnail on Pornhub, man. What are you talking about here?
They've been peeking at my kilt again, goddammit. But let's take a look at a minute at the journalism that she's talking about. It's the 1800s. There wasn't anything like journalistic integrity then quite like we have today. Today, you need a minimum of two confirmed sources saying the same thing before you really go to press. Back then, as sensational as we are today with our news reporting, it was worse back then. Anything to sell a newspaper because, hey, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have television. The newspapers were out trying to, outbid the other one for sales, and sensationalism sells, and it's just that simple. And
yeah.
if, like I said, a good friend of mine here locally is 7'1", he's technically a giant, so if we get those genetic anomalies today, of course we're going to have those back then. So if there was only one giant skull in this mound of a dozen people, okay, I don't see where this is a big cause for concern and a big conspiracy.
Yeah, me either. I mean, there's as much factual validity in that report or whatever you would call it as there is in the following classified ad. For sale, one bicycle, broken front and rear tires, otherwise mint condition.
Yep. And Strikeling, do not make me come over there and pull your teeth to get you to add your 2 cents worth into the jokes and debunking. Please don't make me.
Just warming up here.
Like an
Okay.
Italian engine, just needs a few minutes.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? Our producer doesn't normally get to say a whole hell of a lot. So at this point, I'm going to go say, hey, Bull, what about Bull? What's he got to say?
Well, I don't want to do Amy's job for her, but I did notice that Sean Hufford in the chat said that I think he's referring to Lincoln's quote. It was from page 10 of his collected works, and the quote continues on page 11 where he states the giants he was referring to or talking about was Mammoth and Mastodon.
Oh, okay. Very
Ah,
good.
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
So confirmation, cherry picking. Oh my God, I didn't know conspiracy theorists did such a thing.
Right? Who does that?
Oh, that's funny.
I
That's
also liked
funny.
it right before we cut the clip off. There was video game footage in there as proof of the giants and mammoths. So that was pretty good.
Oh, I didn't even catch that bit.
Yeah, I can't remember what
we'll
game
have to-
that's from, but oh man, it's gonna drive me nuts until I figure it out.
Yeah, if Bull can re-roll that just
It
a
was one
second
I
or three
played.
so we can catch that, that'd be cool when we
Yeah.
get going further. Amy, we got anything going on live chat before we resume, stupid?
We do. Mr. Victory says there are people that did have giantism, but a whole new species is fantasy. Just Brit said if they did have the skeleton of a giant, it would be in a museum. Where did the skeleton go if it was such a big thing? Maybe I'm wrong. Mr. Victory says if she says that we found the stump of a giant beanstalk, I will lose it. I swear it. I'll do it.
Yeah, that one made me laugh.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then Peter Harrington said he is only 5'3", which is 163 centimeters. An 8-foot man is a giant to me, and I can attest to that. I'm only 4'10", so yeah, everybody looks tall to me. So.
Yeah,
There you
absolutely. Geez, even 5'3" looks tall to me.
Yeah, me too. My son is almost 5'3", and he looks tall to me too.
Yeah, well, my daughter's 4'11", and she always says, and a half. But she drives a dump truck for a living, and she's damn good at it. So, hey, just because you're short doesn't mean you can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, being somebody driving a truck like that, I mean, there should be lots of phone books around these days. Everybody, you could just find one to sit on. You're good to go, right?
Yeah, they specially adjusted her pedals and her seat just for her, and so nobody else can drive that truck but her. It's funny as hell.
Oh, you'd be putting traction if you tried. Like, especially somebody like me, 6'1". If I got into that, I'd be broken. No way.
Yeah.
No kidding. Man.
Mr. Victory corrected me in chat. Sorry, Amy, don't mean to cut into your job there, but he just said it was Far Cry Primal was the video game. Yep, that was it.
Oh, cool. Okay, right on.
Well, on that, then let's go back to the stupid and see what else we can find to poke fun at.
Women mixed with the bones of various animals. The skull in question was the only perfect one, and near it were found some abnormally large body bones. The man who bore it was evidently a giant. A thorough investigation of the mound and its contents will be made by the Historical Society.
Oh, that's a video game.
Another newspaper from May 5th, 1885 reads this. Last week, a small mound near Homer was opened by some schoolboys who found a skeleton. Today, a further search was made, and several feet below the surface of the earth in a large vault with a stone floor and bark covering were found 4 huge skeletons, 3 being each over 7 feet in length, and the other 8. This article from the San Antonio Express is telling about a giant skull that is twice the size of a normal human, and there is also a picture. The article reads, Beach giant skull unearthed by WPA workers near Victoria, believed to be largest ever found in the world. Normal head also found. That Texas had a giant in the beach in the long ago appears probable from the large skull recently unearthed on a mound in Victoria County, believed to be the largest human skull ever found in the United States and probably in the world. Twice the size of the skull of a normal man, the fragments were dug up by W. Duffin, an archaeologist who is excavating the mound in Victoria County under a WPA project sponsored by the University of Texas. In the same mound and at the same level, a normal-sized skull was found. The pieces taken from the mound were reconstructed.
And what does she mean? Normal man, normal size skull. Normal compared to what? Are you talking 5'3", 5'6", 5'10", 6 foot? You know, what is your definition of normal before you start telling me twice the size? You know, and let's face it, you know, like I said, people walking around for whatever reason that are 7 foot tall, you know, or a little bit more, do happen. They've happened all throughout history.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a disease called gigantism, which is something wrong with the pineal gland that they just never stop growing. Some of them are just, you know, like my friend here locally, that all the men in his family are 6'5" to 7'2", and that's just the way the men in those families in that family is. You know, but there is a limit to what the human anatomy can endure and the gravity that we have. You know, so somewhere, and I know somewhere in this video, she's going to talk about 18 to 30 foot tall giants, which is totally impossible with our anatomy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my buddy at 7'1", you know, he's in constant pain. I mean, his back hurts, his knees hurts, his hips hurt.
Yeah.
You know, just even though he's big and muscular and he works out to keep himself in shape, you know, just his body mass and the gravity just takes a toll on the joints.
Yeah, especially the spine. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest problems that, as you mentioned, Dick, Andre the Giant,
Yeah.
famous wrestler
Yeah.
from back in the 70s, he had back problems constantly.
Same with the guy who played Jaws in the Bond films, man.
Yeah,
As he
yeah.
gets older, you can see that they have to edit around him so badly because he has problems moving. Like his body just can't handle it, man.
Yeah, they lumber around because it's just too much.
Yeah, totally. You know, it's too bad too, and you know, now this moron's using it to create BS. Like, come on, really? Enough. These people
They're
are
making
funny
it-
though.
They're making it out to be a whole big issue when giantism is really a very common occurrence around the world. You'll
Yeah.
find 7, 8 foot people all over the place in all cultures and all countries. There's
Yeah,
nothing
and
abnormal about it. Just some people have a tendency to get big.
Yeah, and it's not funny either. Like, it really makes life a pain in the ass in like a massive, you know, unhealthy sort of physical pain way. So, you know, you kind of suck by using it for your own needs too here, honey. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we got anything going on in the live chat, Amy, that might contribute?
Yes, I actually do. Mr. Victory said giants would be treated like royalty, so it's natural tall and big people would be buried in tombs. Just Britt said that skull looks like a troll skull, and then she said some people just have big heads. Sums up the video.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
You
kind
know?
of. And what are you thinking about this so far, Strickling? You bored yet?
Definitely not. It's been pretty entertaining. I'm definitely enjoying listening to the bullshit. So,
Well, give us some bullshit of your own. Tell a joke. I don't know. I'm gonna send Gracie over there and encourage you a little bit, right?
I join in when it's necessary. I might not say a lot, but I make it count.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We got
yeah.
a ground floor flurf conspiracy joke is why did the chicken cross the road? Because it was a distraction to deter people from the real plan.
Chicken overlords. Oh my god.
Oh, geez.
Oh god, and I haven't watched this entire video because I wanted to be a little more spontaneous, so I only watched the first minute or two before I gave it to Bull, right? But I'm wondering if she's gonna get into the Book of Enoch and in those days.
Oh, yeah,
there
it's
were
coming.
The Nephilim and the heroes and giants, and because I know a lot of the people that do this giant conspiracy, what they're doing is they're trying to prove that the Bible is literally true instead of just a collection of fables and stories and whatnot, right? That's generally where this goes, but I don't know if that's where this video is going to go.
Well, one thing I noticed is in this last frame that I paused it on, where it has the really crappy illustration or photograph of the heads on the left hand side. It says WPA Skullduggery in South Texas. Isn't skullduggery another word for bullshit?
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I'm not seeing things.
I've never heard it be used for that, but
Yeah. It's a hyphenated word in this case. It's skull hyphen duggery, meaning
Unless they were just being clever about skull dug up. Yeah, that could be too. I don't know. But well, let's see what else she's got to say. I'm hoping she gets us something other than these 1890 newspapers.
If it's modern, it's going to say National Enquirer at the top, I guarantee.
Did in the WPA laboratory under the supervision of physical anthropologists. A study is being made to determine whether the huge skull was that of a man belonging to a tribe of extraordinary large men, or whether the skull was that of an abnormal member of a tribe, a case of gigantism. Several large human bones have been unearthed at this site. Another article from the New York Times, written in 1897, reads, "One of the 3 recently discovered mounds in this town has been opened. In it was found the skeleton of a man of gigantic size. The bones..."
I'm in Amsterdam, which is without a doubt the cannabis capital of the world. And that's because of the
measured from head to foot over 9 feet and were in a fair state of preservation. The skull was as large as a half-bushel measure. Some finely tempered rods of copper and other relics were lying near the bones. The mound from which these relics were taken is...
Am I supposed to possibly have a fucking clue what a half bushel measure is? What the hell, woman? Jesus Christ. She could have at least, put in a reference to let me know. I mean, a half bushel of what?
Well, to be honest, though, in the 1800s and the time frame that this was written, the United States was more agrarian, and even the people in the city knew what a bushel was, but today, yeah, unless you grew up in a farm town like I did, you kind of can't visualize what a bushel is.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know.
yeah, no.
So, yeah, think about, a large, how do I describe this? A bushel would be akin to like a large laundry basket,
Okay.
A
Well, that
large
kind of
rat.
gives us some reference.
Backtard says about 3 gallons. Okay. All right.
Sounds
Yeah,
about
Makes it a
right.
little bit more visual.
Yeah, because I can picture a couple of milk jugs kicking there, and all arranged. So that's a pretty good visual representation, right? So that's a good fucking melon of a head. But considering some people that I've seen over the years, it's not extraordinary. When she said extra there, I was just shivered because I thought she was going to say terrestrial or something, right? I thought for sure it was coming.
Well, hell, AB Science, he's one of our own shill members, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, what, 6'5"?
Yeah, he's a Hulk.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, he's got to have a big brain for all the stuff that he's doing, because his small little brain like mine ain't going to cut it. But, yeah, he could be, part of the giant conspiracy infiltrating the shills.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he put on Chewbacca's outfit, I don't think it would sag. He's a big dude.
Yeah. Oh, God. Amy, what's going on in the live chat? Anything interesting?
Yes. Mr. Victory says there is a 9-foot man in China today. So, and
Wow.
stuck in Florida used to get, he says, I know what a bushel is. I used to get paid by the bushel to pick peas when he was a kid.
Ah,
That's a lot of peas.
That is a
yeah.
lot of peas.
Yeah, last night
Just
I actually
thinking about
saw
it.
a video for 10 real life giants, and one of them was either a lady that was either Russian or Ukrainian, I don't know, a Slavic lady anyway, but she had 52-inch long legs. It's like
Wow.
huge, beautiful woman,
Jeez.
but yeah, those are legs that my dad would say starts at the ground, goes all the way up to heaven.
Again, that's another quote I definitely never heard, but
My dad was full of a lot of them. That's why his
Nice.
eyes were brown.
oh jeez.
Oh, God. Jeff, Dick, anybody else got anything to say before we get back to the video?
Not really. I mean, all they're talking about here is what naturally occurs anyway. I mean, there's nothing strange or new about it.
Yeah, I know. And that's why we're not going to put everybody through the same 30 minutes of that whole video, because I'm sure it's just saying the same bullshit over and over. So people in the live
Yep.
chat, when you get bored with this, or people on the panel, when you guys get bored with this, definitely let me and Bull know, because we can fix that with something different. So
He didn't
Until-
notice. He didn't say better.
Yeah, yeah.
just different.
Different.
So until that
So
happens,
is this Gong Show debunking then? Is that what you're saying? It can
At
be
the moment.
gonged.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
All right.
So Bull,
Yeah.
let's get back to that stupid.
I want to be the unknown.
Is 10 feet high and 30 feet long and varies from 6 to 8 feet in width. The 2 mounds of lesser size will be excavated soon. This article from the St. Paul Globe, written in 1904, states, bones of a human skeleton 11 feet high are dug up in Nevada. Workmen engaged in digging gravel here today uncovered at a depth of about 12 feet a lot of bones, part of the skeleton of a gigantic human being. Dr. Samuels examined them and pronounced them to be the bones of a man who must have been nearly 11 feet in height. Apparently, these discoveries were something completely normal back.
At least we made it to the 1900s with the fucking news articles.
This
But
is true.
come on.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention here that if people ever wondered where the legend of the Greek Cyclops came from, it was humans, that were finding mammoth bones that were misconstruing what they were looking at. They thought the sinus cavity in the mammoth skull was an eye socket. And fun little fact, an elephant's femur looks exactly like a human's femur. It's just really fucking big, and I don't know any Native American skulls or bones that were found 12 feet down, but I know a lot of prehistoric megafauna that were found 12 feet down.
Yeah. The Oh shit. The animation of your dude just caught my eye and threw my brain off, and I lost what I was going to say. I need a second. Damn it. I shouldn't have looked at the fucking screen.
That was
Yeah,
intentional.
Dick's
It was
head fell off,
intentional.
rolled down the sidewalk. That's okay. It happens.
Fuck.
Well, while he's trying to recover his brain there, Amy, from it falling off, let's see what's going on in the live chat. I'm sure there's some interesting comments.
Have we
Do we-
lost our Amy? Oh, we might have. Yep. It's,
Look at
you know,
her.
could be one of
she's
those
muted.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah, we understand those moments, you know,
Oh,
and
I'm
we
sorry.
just deal
Was
with
I
it.
muted?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
there you
you're,
go.
well, you're just chatting away.
Oh yeah, I was just yakking away, and I was like, "What? Why are they talking?" But yes, we do have some good stuff in the chat. Sorry about that. Jenny Morgan says 1 bushel is 9.3 gallons, which is 1.2 cubic feet. And then Purple Rhymes with Orange says, "Don't they know the Cardiff Giant was a hoax?"
Oh, I'm sure.
And Osvaldo Greco says, "Isn't it peculiar that the clips are only from one newspaper for each find? Come on, it should be with world news published in lots of newspapers."
Exactly. If it was
That's true.
significant to find, it would be all over the world.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Was this video specifically talking about the Cardiff Giant? And if not, does anybody want to lay any bets that they're going to bring that one in?
I don't think this one was specifically talking about it, but I have a feeling it might.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing away money, so, you know, we know it's coming.
Yeah.
When
Another
I
little
bet,
fun.
I only bet in fruit snacks, so sorry.
Yeah, another little fun fact about the time frame that she's quoting in these movie article or in these newspaper articles, 1800s to early 1900s. There were things called sideshows, P.T. Barnum, and all kinds of circuses, and they provided all kinds of fake attractions to separate you from your nickels. You know, he didn't say that quote for nothing that sucker born every minute. I mean, so, come on, guys. This is just more of the same bullshit, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a mere coincidence that during the age of the stealth bomber, you had a serious uptake in sharp-edged UFO reportings, like triangles and rectangles and stuff, right? I mean, come on, really?
Yes.
These things aren't too hard to figure.
Yeah, no kidding. Anybody got any 2 cents they want to throw into the kitty before Bull rolls that more footage?
Not yet.
Give it to me
No, not
straight
really.
logic. I can take it.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jeff over there is kind of sitting on his rock, and he's just letting the pressure build, and he's gonna blow sooner or later. I know he will.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's not enough stupid here. This is just old freaking news that's been taken out of context.
Yeah.
How far
Yeah,
are we into this
cherry
video, Bull?
Lost
Oh,
him
did we
now,
lose
too.
Bull this time?
No, you didn't lose me. If you lost me, you'd have lost the whole stream.
Good point.
True.
It's we're only 6 minutes into this 29-minute video.
Yeah, okay.
Yikes.
Well, tell you what, let's stick around with maybe 4-ish more minutes of it before we just get a second off. So yeah, let's see some more.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and they weren't hidden from the public as they are today. The discoveries of giant skeletons weren't limited just to North America. This article talks of a giant's skeletons found in a cave in Mexico. The article reads, Charles C. Klepp, who has recently returned from Mexico, where he has been in charge of Thomas W. Lawson's mining interest, has called the attention of Professor Agassiz to a remarkable discovery made by him. He found in Mexico a cave containing some 200 skeletons of men, each above 8 feet in height. The cave was evidently the burial place of a race of giants who antedated the Aztecs. Mr. Clapp arranged the bones of one of these skeletons and found the total length to be 8 feet 11 inches. Other articles mention discoveries of
Okay, are we talking about Michael Jordan here? What?
Yeah. And she made that statement right off the get-go, that they weren't hidden then like they're hidden today. And I gotta
Yeah.
ask the question, why? Why would anybody hide anything? And what scientist in his right mind is going to take one or two specimens and call it a genotype, a race? Seriously, they don't do that. They didn't do that then, and they don't do that now. It takes a hell of a lot more than one or two pieces to say we have a new race.
Yeah. Come on. That is ridiculous. It makes no sense. Somebody who discovers something really cool like that would not just go, "Oh, we have to hide that from the world." They'd be like, "You're putting my name on that motherfucker. Let's publish." It makes no sense.
Yeah, and does she not understand how many amateur fossil hunters there are out there in the world?
Oh, God.
And any one of them could take it to the local newspaper and get their little 15 minutes of fame. It's tough to hide, especially with today's technologies and cell phones and cameras and internet uplinks. And you're not going to hide this shit. Seriously. I don't see NASA or any men in black pulling up and taking my buddy away because, oh my God, we got to hide the giants.
Yeah, and like somebody said earlier, about why is only one news article about each of these findings? These are like, that would be a huge finding. That would be all over the place.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. There's not enough neuralizers in the world to take out that many memories to make sure that, it wouldn't be told. Come on. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I was telling Dick and Amy last night in a little late night chat we were having years ago when I used to drive semi trucks before I went back to college, right? I was driving through New Mexico and Arizona, and I kept seeing these billboards every few miles that started out with the thing of the desert, and then come see the thing. And it got more and more sensational the closer you got to that off ramp, right? So by the time I got to the off ramp, it's like, okay, fuck it. I'll spend $5 and I'll go see the thing. I need a break anyway. So, and sure enough, it was a P.T. Barnum hoax mummy that they cobbled together out of several skeletons and then put a dried up chimpanzee head on top of it to make it look really, really funky, right? But back in the day, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, in P.T. Barnum's day, people were amazed by that. Why? Because they didn't know anything about evolution for the most part. They didn't know anything about paleontology, and it was sensational. But, to an early 21st century man at our level of education about those topics can look at that and say, yep, that's fake.
Yeah, right? I find it actually funny.
Yeah, so this shit's no different in my opinion.
But what surprises me about that, though, is there are a lot of people that will stop at those places anyway, and you're one of them. You stopped there, right? How many other people stop and look at it and say, whoa, is that real or not? Because we've got flat earthers, let's face it. There's a lot of stupid people out there.
Oh, yeah. Well said.
When you're spending over the road 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and 700 miles a day, doing little things like that is a lark. That was just fun for me, But it's just amazing the things that people will believe because they have to believe that the world is something to be afraid of or somehow controllable or there's a myriad of different reasons why they want to believe in this stuff, but it just amazes me that they do. Don't everybody talk at once.
I was just Purple Rhymes with Orange says in the chat, I faked a spaceship as a teenager. Local paper reported about a dozen sightings.
Oh shit, that's so
That's
fucking
awesome.
cool.
That's
That's awesome.
I hope they save those newspaper articles. I'd love to see them.
Hmm.
Oh, that would be just so something to be so proud of, you know?
Yeah,
That's it,
definitely.
right?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Amy, while you got your mic open, what's going on in the live chat?
Yeah, we've got some good ones. Purple Rhymes with Orange said, it it's why Ripley said believe it or not. Then he never had to back up a claim. Mr. Victory said, want to bet she believes that Batboy is real from the supermarket paper Weekly World News. And Just Brit said, has she never heard of the internet? Not much hidden anymore. And then
Right?
Brown 01, yeah, exactly. And Brown 01 said, definitely hard to hide things nowadays.
And it is. I mean, in this day and age, there's so much of a data trail with. I mean, if the police want to, or the authorities, or whoever, they. But if they subpoena, records from the phone company and records from Google and so on and so forth, I mean, the trail of what you've done in a day is precise and accurate. That's just it, you know?
Yeah, and we're forgetting the title of this particular video. It says giants emerging everywhere. They can't hide this any longer. How much do you want to bet nowhere in the 29 minutes and 44 seconds of this video is she actually showing a giant emerging to take over the world? It's all this old bullshit.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, nothing is
Maybe.
nothing is recent so far. So
Yeah, it's
Anybody else getting a blister on their finger for going?
I was just looking at the splinters in my desk and wondering how much more my forehead can take, but I'll make it through.
Well, yeah, Babes just saved the drywall in my room here by bringing me a whiskey and cranberry ginger ale. I love my
yeah.
Babes.
Nice.
So anyway, let's see what else she's got to say, if anything, before we go move on to something else.
Giants in Europe. This article from 1892, written by the London Globe, tells of the discovery of a race of giants in modern-day France. It reads, in the year 1890, some human bones of enormous size, double the ordinary in fact, were found in the tumulus of Castelnau and have since been carefully examined by Professor Kiener, who, while admitting that the bones are those of a very tall race, nevertheless finds them abnormal in dimensions and apparently of morbid growth. They undoubtedly reopen the question of the giants of antiquity, but do not furnish evidence to decide it. You have no idea how many more newspaper articles we found. There were discoveries of giants all across the globe, and today, scientists and archaeologists pretend this never even happened. This article, titled When Giants Roamed Earth,
Terrible, I know.
Oh, are you serious? Does she know anything about history? Does she not realize that in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Charles Darwin was, fairly new. They weren't teaching it in schools. Most people didn't understand it. And people were very religious, especially in the United States. And they were scared the shit out of the ideas and the origin of species. So they were grasping at any straw to say, no, that's not true because the Bible says man was created. And it was, I mean, even in the 1920s, they took a man to court for teaching evolution in a public school in the United States, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So you got to understand the time frame that we're talking about here.
Yeah. In context, right? The conspiracy theorists, one of the most hated words they've ever known, context.
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, they're definitely known for cherry picking. I've noticed. For sure.
Yeah, it's a skill in their world,
And it sucks that we call it that too, because I love cherry pies in the summertime. But, since I started doing the debunking thing, I just don't quite look at cherries the same way as I used to.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
That's funny.
Amy, I hear you giggling, so you must be finding something really good in the live chat for us.
Oh yeah, Purple Rhymes with Orange talks about how he and his foster brother ran a fishing line from his second floor window over the power lines in the alley and back so they could pull a model with lights back and forth over the ground. That's how the spaceship thing was.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Joseph Grant says I was 6'3" tall and at 14 years old, and people called me a giant.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Mr. Victory says, "Oh my God, Game of Thrones, really?"
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys, but Purple's my hero right now because although I did a lot of weird shit when I was a kid, up to and including homemade explosives, I never, faked a UFO to the point that the local
Yeah.
news was reporting on it. Dude, you're my hero. I love you right now.
I know. I was totally geeking out on that. It's too cool.
hmm Well, when we were kids, Sai was a huge fan of Halloween and, costumes and building things and all that sort of thing. And there was a talent show at my school, and my sister and one of our good friends wanted to do a Men in Black song for the talent show. So Sai actually made neuralizers for them that worked. They made like a charging sound and then flashed and all this stuff. And you wouldn't believe, I mean, they were maybe like seventh grade at the time, eighth grade, something like that. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that were afraid of these fake neuralizers for fear of them
No.
actually wiping their minds. And I was baffled by it at the time, but it makes sense with how the world is now.
Crazy. Wow.
He made them out of like the metal cigar containers.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so that was the shell for the neuralizer.
that is hysterical. What part
Uh,
of comedic sci-fi do these people not get?
And the
It just
sad part
baffles me.
is that's probably pretty damn close to how Hollywood made them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God. At this point, yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to the live chat. One, to keep on with the Giants, and two, to move on to something different. How bored are you getting? Let us know. Um, One of the things I'm pretty sure she's gonna bring up is Magellan. Because I've seen a lot of conspiracy theorists talk about giants and Magellan's log when he reached Patagonia, finding this 10-foot tall tribe, and it was in excruciating detail. Okay, fine, but they failed to mention Sir Francis Drake, who came by, maybe a decade later, who said, "What the fuck was Magellan talking about? These dudes are only 6 foot tall." I mean,
That's funny.
seriously? I found that on my very first web search. All I put in there was
Mhm.
Giants Magellan Patagonia, and it popped up with Sir Francis Drake's debunk of Magellan. I found that hysterical. So they can't tell me that this shit's hidden, and that, goddamn, this isn't the X Files. The truth isn't out there, assholes. It's right freaking here. Tune in and listen. Read a goddamn book. No shit.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
anyway, Amy, how's our voting going?
It looks like mostly twos. I have one from Surf, which is 1.5.
So he's on the
Can
fence.
Damn it,
serve.
Surf.
I say we round up. I say we round up.
Yeah, we do.
Probably.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to something different. So let's go around the cave here and get people's final thoughts on giants. Are they really something to be meriting a conspiracy theory? Jeff, what do you think?
I say it's all just a whole lot of horse shit. They're just big people like we have today. Nothing new about that.
Yep, that's pretty much where I'm at. What about you, Dick?
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. They're absolutely grasping at straws on something that's just no real big deal. I mean, anybody who watched wrestling as a kid saw Andre the Giant. If you watched James Bond, you saw Jaws. I mean, we've been exposed to this. We know that there's people that are abnormally big. So what? Non-story, woo peddling bullshit. Absolutely.
Yep. Strikling.
So I feel like nowadays things are more, mainstream. You hear the news easier because of the internet. You can get news from all around the world. Back in the day, they might not have known about the 9-foot person in Mexico or whatever. So, hearing about one, tall person in the U.S. might have been a big deal. But nowadays, with everything being so, all over the place, there's no reason to not, understand that there are tall people. They're not extraordinarily tall giants, however.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and there's, like I said earlier in this stream, there's many different reasons for very tall people. There's the pineal gland disease that causes gigantism. These idiots that are peddling this woo, they don't seem to understand that when the Mayflower came over here, the average European was about, male was about 5'4" due to malnutrition, whereas the Native Americans they met were eating meat and they were properly, had a proper diet and plenty to eat. So they were, between 5'10" and 6 foot tall, so to them, they seemed like giants. I mean, come on, really? The Bible to me is still a collection of stories. This proves nothing. Bull, what you got?
Well, I was just going to compare this to what you were saying about the sensationalism building up to the whole lot of nothing. She's literally been saying there's more articles, and then each time she says that, she presents them, and then she says, but wait, there's more. It's like a Billy Mays commercial for giants that aren't actually there.
For $29.95, you too can be a fucking moron. But wait, there's more. We will suction your brain right from your left ear with little or no pain to you.
Too fun.
At this point, yeah, their brains have probably fallen out anyway, so they're just going to roll right out their ear. It's probably the size of a pea, It's like...
So, Amy, final thoughts? Anything from the chat? Final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, it's just... Well, I just found it funny that most of her sources came from one newspaper constantly. She did have one from London, but all the others were supposedly from the New York Times. I had a problem with that, and like you said, it's giantism is actually the pituitary gland is one of the glands that regulates growth, and some people have problems with theirs, and it can make them really big, Mr. Victory had a really good comment in here that I have to read out. It's really funny. He said, if I found a giant, I would keep him, pet him, and love him, and call him George.
A Bugs Bunny fan, man after my own heart.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we've kind of beaten that horse bloody into a quivering bowl of jello. So, anyway, what? Let's cue up the next video, Bull, and let's see something just a little different.
The UFO investigators have failed to find a rational explanation for Matt Reed's memory loss.
We now have no good explanation to take to these two guys about what happened to them.
Or his puncture marks.
The holes that were found in his chest, what do you think about that?
What I saw was evidence of something like a scalpel.
What we possibly may have here is a case of alien harvesting.
Now, Daryl believes the marks found on both brothers after their alleged abductions could have been caused by alien harvesting.
Now, harvesting is a term that implies, like when you say harvesting, I think of somebody's harvesting my kidney. You wake up in an ice bath. What are we talking about here in the history of ufology?
Harvesting is when the alien takes parts or pieces of skin, sometimes it's blood, sometimes it's a scoop mark.
So they're taking what, human body parts?
If you make it stop.
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll take that
jeez.
beer.
All right, dude, you got it. Dick, you take the lead on this one.
Well, first and foremost, that's that. The one guy is that fucking fuck that goes on Ancient Aliens and talks like a fucking fuck. He literally invents bullshit just because he can have a little caption in the bottom that says, author of, and it's always just his nonsense. But I didn't catch, the whole part where I was losing my mind, but just the opening, 20 seconds there was enough to know that this is going to require a big shovel and a salad bowl the size of which the world has never seen. Fuck me.
My first thought was, how do you take a complaint of memory loss and a semi-healed puncture in the chest and make a leap into alien harvesting? What the fuck? Are you serious? Did you rule out anything else, and what was it, and how did you do it, and why did you rule it out? I'm sorry, but I'm not eating this bullshit sandwich. I don't care how much fucking ketchup you put on it.
Yeah. The guy's at a construction site. He's accidentally impaled by a piece of ready rod or rebar or whatever you want to call it. Oh, yeah, that's harvesting. You see, that's where they went in to get the organs. No. Like, whatever. Like, Jesus
Did you take any fucking MRIs to see if you had anything missing? Or to see if you had part of your brain missing? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this.
I love it. I love it how these guys assume that these aliens have the technology to break the speed of light so they can get from planet to planet within their own lifespans and make it all normal and make sense. But at the same time, their own medical technology is basically the same as ours, and they just have to gouge into things with fucking knives and shit. Like, really? Really? Fuck. You don't think they would have improved?
Yeah, and people in the live chat, do understand that I plan these streams days in advance, and I actually ask my guests to put their input into the videos that we'll be showing. So if there is any tomatoes to be thrown, this is Cy Strikling's fault. She said, yes, that sounds like fun.
You're not wrong. I did say that.
That's awesome.
That's all right. I'll take the tomatoes. It's fine.
I was going to say, I haven't seen this, but I have...
Chat.
Wait.
I'm sorry, Bull. I cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have a prediction here. I have a
Go
prediction that it's not actually organs that are being harvested, and they're going to come up with like memories or something because he's got memory loss. So of course they didn't harvest his kidneys; they harvested his memories.
Oh my god!
Yeah, with a hole in his chest.
And God, Bull, you just made me remember this really, really bad sci-fi Z movie. I don't even remember the name of it that I watched late night when I was stationed in Yokosuka, Japan back in the 80s. But it was about aliens that were shooting this crystal into people's brains to harvest the endorphins released in the act of having sex.
Oh, jeez.
So if anybody in the live chat knows the movie I'm talking about, feel free to let me know the name of it, because it's funny enough. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, actually.
Sounds like
Andy, what's going on in the live chat?
Surf said it all. Surf said it all. Simply pineapple, baby. Pineapple. That's it.
Ew, no pineapple.
Exactly. Just Britt said this is the worst acting I've ever seen. Stuck in Florida said, "Is this from the Hysteria channel?"
That's a good one.
That was Mr. Victory said, "Squirt guns, ancient astronaut historians say they come from otherworldly beings." And then Purple Rhymes with Orange says, "Life is like a shit sandwich. The more bread you have, the less shit you have to eat."
That's awesome.
He also said, "I miss the History Channel from the 90s when they used to show fact-based documentaries." And then
No shit.
exactly. Joseph Grant said, "People who think that aliens have visited Earth have no idea of distance and the immensity of the galaxy. The problem is that the laws of physics are the same throughout the universe." and he's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, imagine that, Oh, God. Anyway, does anybody else want to see more of this? I kind of do, this is kind of like a train wreck. You don't want to watch it, but you're just kind of morbidly fascinated by what's going to happen.
You can't look away.
No.
And it's a lot shorter than the other video. Like, this is something we could power through if we really want to.
Oh, good, thank goodness.
Yeah,
Okay,
right?
well, let's see some more.
Tissue sample, is that what's going on?
They are doing at least that. Some people suggest that there's an involvement of some type of genetic manipulation.
On the whole, what this means is that ETs are carrying out certain procedures on human beings to evaluate things.
If the Reeds were victims of alien harvesting, Stephen wants to know more about the phenomenon and what implications it has on abduction cases in Indiana and elsewhere.
I'm more and more convinced that there's ET harvesting connected with these cases. I have a contact called Timothy Good, and he's an expert in this field. I believe by talking to him, he's going to be able to shed some light on what this is all about and explain why ETs are taking blood and tissue.
If he's an expert in the field, the only thing he's going to say to you is, pull head from rectum, you absolute moron.
I was going to ask how one becomes an expert in alien harvesting. Like, where do you go to learn about that shit?
Yeah.
What accredited university did he go to for that?
I think he went to the same one that JM went to for his pamphlet making.
Oh, you could be.
Yeah, that
He
would
did say
be
he was
bullshit.
an expert in the field, and
Yeah.
JM is always outstanding in his field. So
Yeah.
Oh, God, when
Unbelievably
Glover
good.
Mom told that joke, I died laughing that day. That was funny as hell. Oh,
That's-
God. Well,
That guy's
you know,
funny. In my opinion, this clearly shows signs of alien harvesting. I mean, the only thing that could possibly make sense in this moment is if they would have shown a video sequence of illegal aliens harvesting crops somewhere on a farm. That's the only thing that could have saved his ass, but that's not what he means.
Oh shit! I was trying so hard not to go there, but Dick being
I had to.
he's just Dick, Everybody loves Dick. Oh God. Amy, so we got anything in the live chat before we roll that more stupid?
Yes, please. We got Surf says and Surf and Just Brit said that movie that we were talking about earlier was perhaps Liquid Sky.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So Brown01 says alien scientist dog. Mr. And Timothy Good is such a bullshit artist, is what Mr. Victory said. And NANA says, how can you be an expert in bullshit fantasy?
That's a good point.
Exactly. Purple rhymes with orange says the puncture wounds are because the brothers got into a fight. One stabbed the other, and this was the best story they could come up with to keep the cops from investigating.
Oh God! It was
Yeah,
that
I
surf
swear
that
it was
came up with
aliens.
the. Was that surf that came up with the Liquid Sky title?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Surf, I'm really glad to know that I wasn't the only 20-something kid getting stoned in the middle of the 80s at 2 o'clock in the morning, pigging out on Twinkies and Doritos, watching stupid fucking movies. I feel much better about my past now.
Why are they always in a warehouse on computers on a bunch of fucking fold up tables in bad lighting? Like, why? Like, because
the neighbors are worried about property values, and they're always
if they were
chasing you out of
actually
town.
researching if this person was harvested or whatever the fuck that actually means, wouldn't it be like in a medical facility with really good lighting? Like, have you ever been in an OR? It's bright as fuck.
Yeah, and wouldn't they have
Sterile.
wouldn't they, if they were truly investigating this, wouldn't they have like the victim or the corpse or something, not just, pictures on a monitor.
Well, I do know a very young doctor named Frankenstein who actually investigated this sort of thing, but a young lady by the name of Abby stymied his investigation. It was Abby something. What was her name? Abby Normal, I think it was.
The surf said to you, "Nope, you can still feel bad. I didn't see it. Just looked it up."
Oh shit!
That's awesome.
Oh god! All of a sudden, I feel like a fucking flurf now.
Joseph, I'm sorry. What was that?
No, I was gonna ask Bull to save me, but I didn't realize he had more. Keep going there.
Sure.
I mean, you see Surf's comment there. It was made a year before I was born. Like, he was nothing but a shot in the dark at that point.
Now I'm scared I might actually
someone's
be.
Eye.
Now I'm scared I might actually be Surf's daddy.
Joseph Grant said when he was a kid, he called out to my dad, "I see 3 UFOs." He came over and focused my binoculars, and it was 3 raindrops in a spider's web.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Oh, God. Oh, well, we promised laughs, and we definitely got them.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
My ribs hurt. Oh, God. Anyway,
It's getting hot over here.
should we? Well, not my fault. You asked for this.
I can't wait till what's next. We've discovered evidence that they are implanting communication equipment in the rectum. That's what's coming next.
Yeah, well, the alien who probed me, couldn't read real well, and she stuck the probe in my ear instead. It was not near as much fun as I expected. Anyway, moving on, as Strickling would say. Bull, save us from the madness with, more madness?
You from human beings. So this new case that you've been investigating, is this the one where the young lady was cured of cancer?
Yes, absolutely.
Author Timothy Good has been investigating cases of abduction and alien harvesting for over 50 years, interviewing hundreds of eyewitnesses, as well as being leaked top-secret government information.
Now, Tim, the case that we're currently working on, 2 brothers, the Reed brothers, that have had missing time, puncture marks, tissue taken. Do you know of any other cases that are similar?
Well, there's a case in 2002 involving Chris Augustin, who claims to have had missing time, strange marks, for example. He woke up with a triangular-shaped bruise, as you can see here. There was also a series of puncture marks in a line here, which are interesting.
Just like the Reed case. Those sort of marks, is that pretty typical of what contact experiencers have on their body after an event?
Certainly involving...
Jesus Christ. Holy fuck.
Let's see. So he did heroin, and those are needle tracks. Got it.
And I'm going to make, go out on a limb here and say that we don't, as humans, build anything metallic or non-metallic of a triangular shape that could cause a bruise like that at all.
Well,
I was going to say
the plethora of Illuminati triangles that people like this have in their possession. So that could have been one of those.
I was going to say, I'm epileptic, and every time I have a seizure, I lose time, and I wake up with bruises from something I don't know what the fuck I hit with, usually.
Yeah, and as a clinical therapist, I've got to throw this in here. There's many different reasons for lost time. Epilepsy, a more rare condition called a fugue state, which, if you really want to know about, we can go on about that. But it's causes you to lose time, and while you're still walking around doing things, and and then people wake up, and all of a sudden it's like, where in the fuck am I? Why do I have all these bruises? Where did this tattoo come from? There's such thing as overindulging in alcohol, or recreational chemicals. All kinds of things can cause memory loss and strange bruises.
Marijuana. Right?
Thanks, Dick.
Just pointing that out.
Well, I like
Just
in
pointing
the
that out.
description of what qualifies him as an expert. He said he's been doing this for over 50 years, but he's only interviewed hundreds of victims, and I have to wonder how many hundreds, because that's like I did the rough math in my head. It's like 18,000 days or so for 50 years, and for only 100 or so, victims to be interviewed, that doesn't really make for an expert.
No. And if he's
Right.
really been doing it for 50 years, all I can say is, son, you have wasted your life.
Definitely.
No doubt. No doubt. The only thing you can hope is that at the end of his days, just before he passes, the unicorn rides into the room and gives him a wink. Right? That would be something.
And
Amy,
just
what's going on in the live chat?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, some good stuff. And Surf says, speaking of that, I haven't ever met my dad. Papa? He goes.
Oh, dude.
And then Mr. Victory says the alien harvester turns out to be Elmo. That was why they created Sesame Street. See expert bullshit. He also said Timothy Good is Eric Dubay of the UFO world. And Brown01 says aliens are assholes if they have the cure for cancer. Purple Rhymes as Orange says, I have a cartoon of a guy talking to an alien asking why they do the anal probing. The alien pulls out the Voyager golden disc and says, you sent us unsolicited nudes with directions to your home. Marty Moose says the organ harvesters are in China. These knuckleheads confuse them with aliens. Not a very bright bunch, are they? And Mr. Victory says, I had lost time. It was called A Night in Bangkok.
Yeah, I know that one, Mr. Victory. For me, it was A Night in Busan.
That's funny.
Is it just me, or does Alien Harvester sound like a farm implement?
It
Yeah,
does.
yep.
Sounds sort of like a farmall or something.
Yeah.
I think that was in another game. Was it the Harvester? Was it in Mass Effect video game, or was it in War of the Worlds? Did they have a Harvester in War of the Worlds? I think they might have. Either way, it was aliens. There's always a Harvester when it comes to aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. But I find it funny that the way the reports are basically the same as they were 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And if you see how advanced our medical technology is now compared to what it was 40, 50 years ago, I find it funny that people that have conquered space flight and whatnot to the level that you would have to be these aliens are still, one step away from, opening up a leather wrap and having some nasty looking saw and shit in there. Like, they seem to be pretty crude about this crap. Really? Yeah, I just don't buy that. It's just that's crazy.
Yeah,
Especially if they have the technology to get here from wherever they're from, even from within the galaxy, it's just, but they use crude things like that. Yeah. That's just weird.
I've been watching this sort of thing since I was a kid with Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of, and Ancient Aliens and all kinds of other things. And there is nothing about any alien abduction report that can't be explained with either A, making it up, B, sleep paralysis, and a combination of lucid dreaming. I mean, really.
Yeah, outright lying. Absolutely lots of them, though. Come on.
You know,
Have you ever noticed some of the newer alien abduction people? Like when you see them getting interviewed or whatever, it looks like it's footage from the 70s, and it's just because they have a 70s look to their home and everything. And that's just, maybe that just has something to do with things, you know? Oh, please let me stand out for a minute, please.
I mean, yeah, I just had a situation just about 5 or 6 nights ago where I had a case where I was waking up in order to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, and the sleep paralysis hadn't worn off by the time my eyes were open. And so I had a combination of my eyes open so I could see the room around me. I had a little bit of lucid dreaming going on because I knew in my dream state that I needed to get up and go to the restroom, and I had the sleep paralysis going on. So all that combined to this really weird sensation of I feeling myself getting up out of bed, but yet before I could actually stand fully erect, I'm back in bed, but I'm seeing everything, in the room that my face is pointing towards, but I couldn't move. And it was kind of scary, but because I understand what the brain does in the sleep paralysis and the dreaming, I wasn't really afraid. But I could see where a less educated person who doesn't understand what is going on inside their brain in moments like that could fill in the blanks for this whole alien sequence.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I did hear once a conspiracy theorist guy took it really far. He said, no, it's not aliens. The government makes you think it's aliens because it's really them doing tests on us. That's deep, man.
Well, yeah, then of course you get the idiots who say the movie Them is a documentary. I mean,
true.
Ouch.
So anyway, one more round of what's in the live chat, Amy, and then we can have Bull hit the button for more stupid.
Sure. Stuck in Florida says, yeah, about 4 years ago, I thought there was hope, and it was just people that didn't understand the science. I was way wrong. And Just Brit says a little too much acid.
Indeed. Well, sounds to me like it's video time then.
Yeah,
I do believe.
Hit the button, Bull.
Abductions. There have been many cases of triangular marks, circular marks, and other types of strange marks which are inexplicable.
What other cases do you have that fit this?
There's a famous case from 1957, Antonio Villas Boas, who was abducted, taken on board a craft. Puncture marks were also found on him, where they had perhaps taken blood samples from him, according to this doctor here.
So this is his doctor examining him after the event?
There were actually two doctors who examined him in Brazil, and one of them was a friend of mine, a colleague, and he was absolutely convinced this was a genuine case.
With regards to all these cases, especially the Reed case, why is this tissue being taken?
I would think something to do with DNA, because I have been reliably informed by a Washington source that there is a hybridization program in process. A group of aliens plan to produce hybrids, combination of human beings and their own beings. If what I've learned is true, there is an intention on the part of these hybridizing species to take...
Sorry, pause there.
Explode and splatter all over the screen.
Yeah, we don't want that.
First off, if they're going to poke you with something, well, that's enough to get a little blood or whatever. So there's your DNA, the whole 9 yards. Why do they have to scrape off a skin sample for DNA? That makes no sense. But then I've been, reliably told by high-ranking officials about this hybridization program. No, you're not just going to throw that in off the cuff. We went from skin samples to hybrid humans in the blink of an eye. You're not getting away with that. No, what the hell? This guy's off the charts. All right. Is it possible they really believe this, or are they just looking at the book sales of their next release? What's going on here?
Well, welcome to this episode of Cave Town Neighborhood. Can you say bullshit? Yes, I knew you could.
Oh man.
Can you say citation needed? Yes,
Definitely.
citation needed.
I
That's
mean,
right, boys and girls.
Evil Knievel could never have made a leap that far. Oh, they've been poked and prodded to, I know for sure there's a hybridization program going on. Wait a minute. What happened to 40 minutes of movie? How did I get to here? That was
Yeah, no
crazy.
shit. Oh, Amy, what's going on in the live chat?
I've got a good one. Stupid Monkey says they think they were abducted and have puncture marks. I'd say heroin. And then Chris Katsula says not heroin, crocodile. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well,
That's awesome.
we've been only at this for an hour and 35 minutes. I'm 2 sheets to the wind, but I need more. Where's my babes? Babes, I need more alcohol. I gotta at least get 4 sheets to the wind to finish this freaking video.
Mhm. I don't drink, but I might just start after this. I don't know.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. As a wise
Yeah.
man once said, bourbon, the only way to handle these moments in life, bourbon.
Yeah, I hadn't had a drink in a dozen-ish years until I started doing the debunking thing, and now I spend a couple $100 a month. It's in my budget now. There's a line item says debunking alcohol.
That's awesome.
I have a new favorite phrase in life due to debunking. Hi, my name's Dick, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Dick.
Oh man.
I have a feeling this is going to get a little bit more crazy, like a way more crazy.
Thank God you
Yeah.
didn't say it was going to get worse before it gets better, because I don't see this getting better.
No.
It won't get better. I promise it won't get better.
Oh, roll that beautiful, stupid footage.
Take over the planet.
Wow. So this hybrid program that's going on, where is it going on? Because I can't see it.
There are huge underground bases under our oceans and underground in various countries.
Do you think it's because this race of aliens can't live on this planet?
That's what I have been told in Washington. The aliens have apparently created a hybridized species so that they can survive much better on the surface of this planet than hunkered down in their alien bases.
So Tim, is it possible that there are hybrids walking down the streets of this town today?
Definitely.
Do you think this hybrid program could possibly have benefits for the human race? Could this be the next stage in our evolution?
Goodness knows what that could mean. Are we going to have thousands of aliens trying to be in charge of our planet? I don't know.
Who knows about it? Does my Prime Minister know about it? Does the American President know about it?
If there was one Prime Minister, I would say Margaret Thatcher, because she got to know Reagan very well, and Reagan himself had been briefed on the alien situation, and I'm quite sure that he would have discussed it with Margaret Thatcher. There's no question that a number of people have been very, very well informed.
Why do you think certain parties would want to keep this secret?
Because it's too shocking.
What's shocking about it?
What, the fact that there's a race of beings trying to take over this planet? I think a lot of people would find that quite disturbing.
After speaking with Timothy Good, I realised the experiences of the Reed brothers
Going to explode all over the ceiling. Oh, Strickling, I hear the frustration in that sigh. Go ahead, let it out. We're here for you, honey.
Well, I just don't understand how we went from scratch marks to harvesting to aliens taking over the world. Like, I don't understand where they're making these leaps. This is killing me.
I agree. That first off, that was a scripted conversation. They knew what they were doing. It was so unbelievably poorly done. It's not funny. But the jumps from one to the other were the kind of thing that would make a 5-year-old go, well, wait a minute, that makes no sense, right? It's unbelievable. That was crap.
Like, there could be no other possible explanation for any of this other than aliens taking over the world.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up and I had a little circular mark on my arm. Oh, you mean I couldn't have, like, fell asleep on the couch and slept on the remote control to the TV or something? Fuck, are you kidding me?
Must instantly jump to alien harvesting. Like, what?
Yeah, what the hell's been in my ass? What's this mark on my arm? Wait a minute. How did we get there? Whoa, wait, hold on.
You wanted citation logical. There's your citation. Ronald Reagan, the one president who got Alzheimer's and is now dead. Figures.
Yeah. And no, before I look at Amy and ask her what's going on in the live chat, I've got to welcome back Osvaldo Greco, longtime supporter of this channel, was inadvertently unsubbed by YouTube. He is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And his comment says, so Reagan knew all about aliens, but the Iran-Contras affair took him by surprise?
Good one.
Yes.
So with that, let's take a look at Amy and see what else is going on in the live chat.
Oh my gosh. And I have a comment of my own to make too. I'm sorry. It must be that spectrum thing or something, but I just cannot, when the video was playing, I cannot take my eyes off that man's goatee. It looks like an arrow pointing down, like he says, see, my IQ is dropping. Look at my beard. What the hell is that? But anyway.
I saw the same thing. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Unite for the Children says, I have reptilian Anunnaki blood type THX1138, and you will all bow down before me one day. And then it's funny. And then if Purple Rhymes with Orange says, funny, my drinking has increased at least 6-fold since I started watching YouTube. And Mr. Unite for the Children says, goddamn alien bases, pounds desk twice. Mozart Ali Smith says, have aliens big penis? Mr. Victory says, underground bases. Wait, that's where the underground clowns are, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
my
Under the
God.
oceans, too. Provided by Atlanteans, of course. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
Maybe
Oh
they're
my
giant aliens, though. I mean, we could just be, in a mashup video here, too. So
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny you brought up that goatee thing there, Ames, because I was sitting there looking at it thinking, God, he looks and sounds like a deranged Colonel Sanders. What are they putting in the chicken these days? I'm going to have to report this so everybody knows. KFC will poison your brain.
They put meth in there. That's their secret spice. It's meth.
Oh, well, in that case, I might have to go buy a bucket.
No wonder I always clean up real well after eating that stuff.
Exactly. And Osvaldo Greco says, if I wake up with scratches, it means my cat's hungry.
That's a good one.
this is very true.
What kind of cat does he have? A fucking Siberian tiger?
Yeah.
Oh, God, babes, please come back. I need another drink.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, anybody got anything else before we ask for more? Please, sir, may I have some
Oh
more?
my gosh, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I only had yesterday to kind of recover from everything. So it's like, holy cow, I don't know how much. Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Okay.
And it's
So
just,
funny.
I just can't stop focusing on that damn beard. So
Mhm. It definitely, I noticed it was like an damn arrow, and that's all I could see now.
Well, at least it didn't have any food particles in it. It could have been worse.
True.
God, that would
You're
have been real
wrong.
bad.
We have
Oh,
less
God.
than a minute left of this one, guys. So
Okay, let's see if we can make it through the whole
Let's try to
whatever
power
seconds
through it.
before somebody explodes.
brothers is not exclusive to them. They are being harvested for DNA, for blood, for tissue, and that is happening to thousands of people all around the world. The ETs are taking this stuff and creating hybrid programs in bases underneath the ground, underneath the water. The scariest thing for me is that people in our governments know about this. This goes right to the top. Tim Good said that Maggie Thatcher knew about this, Ronald Reagan knew about this, and who knows about this now?
Well, clearly, I can tell you exactly what's going on here, people. Okay. This was spearheaded by Donald Trump years ago so that when he rose to power, he could take these hybrid clone beings and sell them as home robotic sort of android-like people for your and I's home use. They'll be sweeping up and mopping up and doing some vacuuming and whatnot. And I think it's going to go for about $149 a month on subscription. So don't worry, it's cool, no problem.
Anyway, Chris Casoulas just asked Amy in the live chat, "Are you really tired?" My wife gets giggly when overtired. Nah, Chris, that's just Amy. She's our own little shill's giggle box.
And then Brown01 says, "Oh my God, I see it. You can see the arrow now on that guy's face."
That's all I saw once you told me that. I was sitting there looking at it on the screen because I got preview and just looking at his beard. I'm like, yeah, it's an arrow. Yep. You
never know. Danger zone.
It could be a billboard pointing, certain individuals to more interesting sites. I have no fucking idea. But you're right. That beard is very distracting.
Eyes are up at the top.
Yeah, eyes are up here, asshole, Trog. Come on.
Yeah. Ain't nobody talking about that now. Come on.
Maybe I don't need another drink. I don't know.
Yeah, we might call him a fuck stick, but we don't want to see it. Not happening.
Yeah, no.
Strikling, what you got for us about this so far?
Oh,
That's
man.
the end of it, but come on.
Well, yeah, I just love at the end where he says, that we have, that this guy, whatever, Timothy, whatever his name was, he said that the government knows about this and that, Maggie Thatcher knows about this. So it must be true, all from this one source. Like, how is that? I just don't understand. Like, how is that your reliable source? I don't.
That was literally the definition of hearsay. I heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody.
Right.
Yeah. But yet the damn conspiracy theorists, when they see our debunking videos, like the moon landing deniers, they ask for things like, where's your PDFs? Where's your tracking telemetry? Where's this? Where's that? But yet when they make these stupid fucking videos, all they give me is hearsay and innuendo and possible maybes and kind of sort ofs, and show me some fucking evidence, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, one point of positive evidence for your claim. Like, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a hell of a comment from Purple Rhymes with Orange. He said that beard matches his wife's below the waist beard.
Well, see, I'm not the only one going there. Dick, bite me.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, and about the sources and stuff, I would love to see something like a concrete primary source for any of this information this guy is speaking in absolutes about. It's just amazing to me that they can say, well, they know this definitively when they are just basically passing on gossip.
Yeah.
That's basically what conspiracy theories are. Somebody misheard something and then repeats it, and then somebody else mishears that, and then you end up with stupid conspiracies like this.
Well, Amy, if this video hasn't convinced you that reptilian overlords are here to conquer us and are real, have I got a treat for you. Pull up our bonus feature. you see that? His face shifted. And of course, we all know that's not a digital artifact transferring, film to digital media at all. He is really a shapeshifter. There's definitive proof.
We don't call that loss of a keyframe. No, not at all.
Yeah,
no.
Wow.
That just cracks me right up because one day when my son and I were driving to one of his appointments, and he just, because of his autism and everything, he just says random stuff every once in a while. And one day I'm driving in the car and we're on Main Street in Brunswick, which is a pretty busy town. And I almost lost it because he looked at me with a very straight face and said, "Mom, Donald Trump is a shape-shifting lizard." So when you brought this video up, I just about died. I started laughing so hard that day that I had to pull over because I was going to crash.
That's funny.
Britt just asked from the live chat, where do you find these videos? Well, Britt, we find them on YouTube after scouring for hours to bring you only the most suitable, the most special stupid we can find.
The best of the stupid.
Oh, that's a good one too. Wow. Holy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Steam and Cup of Reason found that last one and it was like, oh god, I love him for that. That was so freaking special.
That was perfect.
It kind of ties the whole night up into
great lead in for it, Ames.
Right.
Yeah.
It ties the whole night up into one nice, neat little package. You got giant alien bones with freaking aliens hybrids that are now reptilian overlords. Yay!
Including shape-shifting lizards.
Oh.
And to think I just started out as a flat earth debunker, and little did I know that there's more stupid out there.
Oh. I mean, if you go and watch 10 different conspiracies about Donald Trump in a row, you'll discover that he's a shape-shifting reptilian gray alien that was born at the bottom of the ocean in Atlantis and has come here to suck the blood from everyone's children. Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's got man, bear, pig, and chupacabra just fucking beat. Just slam.
Oh, God, yeah. It's funny you should bring out Chupacabra. I was thinking about that for either a video or another live stream.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, so how about Amy? We look at the live chat one more time before we go around the cave and get final thoughts. We're coming up on 2 hours here, and I don't want to abuse anybody's time because I know it's middle of the week and people still have to get up and go to work in the morning. So, Ames, what is going on out there?
Sure. Ghost Dog 999 says, what? Damn, I'm out of booze. My head hurt for the stupid. And Chris Katsoulis says, YouTube, we provide the stupidity required to remove the dead brain cells from all the alcohol you needed to watch the stupidity on YouTube.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes. Stupid Monkey says, I was talking to my shape-shifting lizard friend the other day. He was upset because I called him Donald Trump. True story.
Well, how could you know for sure, right? You got to cover your bases,
Exactly. Purple Rhymes with Orange says, play John Lennon's last single backwards and it screws up your needle.
Oh, God. Well, I hope everybody's enjoyed the stream so far tonight. And if we ever revisit Reptilian Overlords again, I have yet another video from a gentleman who's going to tell us how to tell if you are one. And the comment section of that video is more funny than the freaking video itself. So hold on to your butts. So anyway, anything else in the live chat, Ames, before we go around the cave?
Sure. And just Britt, you're very welcome. She said, I love this stream tonight. It gave me so many laughs tonight.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Exactly.
So anyway, Dick, final thoughts from you about tonight?
Well, we may inject the stupid, but we also supply the healing prescription right here in Cave Town. So sit back, relax, let your ears go numb, and just remember, it could have been worse. At least we made it humorous.
Yeah. And while we're going around the cave, I'm going to ask the live chat for a little vote that we'll look at there toward the end before we sign off tonight. Do you guys want to see more Trog Hand live, or do you want to see more, 8 to 10 minute videos? One for the videos, two for the Trog Clan live, while we continue to go around the cave. Ames, what's your final thoughts on tonight?
Wow, that just so much woo. It's just it's so hard to absorb it all. But I noticed that the underlying theme of all of these is that none of them had any primary sources. They didn't have anything to document what they were saying. The first one with all the news articles from just one newspaper. How do we know those were real? For one thing, and it's just wow. And it's just incredible that they can speak in such absolutes with zero proof. I just can't get over that. It's just wow. And we've got a lot of twos in the chat, except
What
for
was
a 3 and a 0.
What was twos again? I don't remember.
2 is lives, and
Right.
but Monkey has a point.
Oh,
He says
okay.
3, 1 plus 2, right? And same with Chris.
False dichotomy. Why can't we do both?
And
Cool.
Mr. Victory says math is fake.
And I like Purple Rums with Orange's suggestion. How about altering week to week? I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because you know what? Doing the research to make the little videos and then doing all the animations, you got no idea how labor intensive that really is, and then things like life and health gets in the way, and
Damn
before
life.
you know it, 3 weeks go by and you ain't putting nothing up on your videos on your channel, right? But anyway, Size Strikling, what you got for final thoughts?
I just love the leaps and bounds that everybody made in all the videos. We went from, cuts to aliens and, one large bone that could have been like an elephant bone or something and had to be a giant, of course. All those sorts of things. And it was definitely entertaining. I enjoyed myself, definitely.
Well, I really am glad that you enjoyed your time here in Cave Town. And, well, I've got to ask because, I am got a little bit of an ego, just a little bit. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how does Trog Clan Live measure up to, say, movie night?
It definitely comes pretty close. I'm not going to say it's better than movie night because there's really nothing better than movie night. But it's definitely a close second.
The thing about movie night is it can just drag on. That's the only thing about movie night. It could just keep going. Yeah. I've seen 8 hour.
None of this 2-hour stuff.
Right, 8-hour movie nights, and it's a 3-minute video.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So anyway, Bull, what you got for final thoughts on tonight?
I'm beyond myself that there's this much stupid. Like I'm kind of like you. I got into it because of Flat Earth. Like one of my friends actually came up to me and said, "The Earth is flat." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I tried to argue with him and stuff, and I'm like, well, I can't tell if he's being a Poe or not because you can't tell with flat earthers, and a lot of these things you can't tell if the person's just pulling your chain or not. So, and I think the two in the middle video, I think those two guys, I think they're charlatans. The first lady, I don't know. And the last one, that's just giggles. That's all that was.
Oh yeah, that smirk on his face was really telling. And as most people know, I worked in the mental health field, and in the last couple of years of my profession, I specialized in drug and alcohol rehabilitation and recovery. And you know what? When I retired, I really thought I heard it all until a flat Earth video and other silly videos came across my suggested feed, and I'm like, oh my freaking God, are you serious? If my clients can only hear this shit, they would feel so much better about themselves. Oh, but I really appreciate everybody in the live chat. And I really appreciate everybody here on the panel and our producer, Bull, and Amy, our chief mod, for showing up tonight. I'm so glad you all came and enjoyed a laugh or three with us. And with that, we'll all say goodnight. And Bull, go ahead and hit that little button for us.
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Oh, that clip. Damn, I talked over it.